Hello and welcome to the Summit to Repair Center Conversion Review. The purpose of this presentation is to show the similarities and some of the differences between Summit Body Shop Management Program and Mitchell Repair Center, and the transition from Summit to Repair Center and what it will entail. So the key feature differences that we're going to talk about center around configuration and whiteboard overview, the changes in the CSR tasks, the changes in the estimator tasks, changes in the parts manager tasks, some production and payroll changes, some accounting changes, the robust reporting opportunities that are available within Repair Center, and some of the add-on modules that are available, and then of course some multi-store owner options at the tail end of the presentation. So jumping right in, the configuration of Repair Center is critical to the success of the transition of the shop from Summit to Repair Center. The installation team, the CIT customer installation team, they basically, through a series of phone calls and interviews with the shop owners and managers, configure the system and tailor it to your specific needs. So it's critical that we take care of a bunch of setup things in these initial phone calls before the trainer arrives on site. So things like parts and labor scrubbers and security, and whether the shop is an auto flagging shop or a manual flagging shop, these are all examples of things that need to be taken care of at the very onset of the configuration. The time to do these configurations is considerable. It will encompass several phone calls, usually an hour or more in duration, to make sure that everything is set up for your particular work environment. The CIT team is extremely busy, and it's important that you keep your scheduled appointments. Otherwise, you get thrown back into the queue, and it can delay your on-site training. So if you do have appointments set with the CIT team, very important that you keep those appointments. So some of the things that they will touch on during the course of the configuration calls are the setup of parts and labor scrubbers. And parts scrubbers we'll talk at length further along in the presentation, but basically it revolves around scrubbing estimates for common end of the estimate item lines, such as flex additive and cover car, and you can see clips and coolants here in my examples. But things such as restore corrosion protection are also included in the parts and labor scrubbers. Advanced security can be set up for different individuals within Repair Center. You can tailor the each individual's logon to certain aspects of Repair Center, so you would not give your CSR full administrative rights in most cases. You would tailor them to the intake and the delivery of vehicles. You know, the parts manager, of course, would have all kinds of parts functionality and maybe a little bit of production, and so on and so on. So these things can be tailored up front in the configuration. Auto flagging is a system inside of a Repair Center that will automatically pay flat rate technicians based upon the number of hours that have been assigned to them once certain tasks have been completed and certain process steps have been completed as well. So you can set auto flagging to pay the full amount of the technician's assigned hours, or partial amounts depending on where the vehicle is in the current process of repair. The entry of dates can be automated as well as the vehicle is moving from one production process step to another, and this can be also set up during the initial configuration. You'll hear the word whiteboard several times during the course of the presentation, and the whiteboard basically is our home screen in Repair Center. And we work in a tabbed environment, which is somewhat similar to the Summit work environment. The screen navigation from the whiteboard screen to the part screen and so on is typically done through hyperlinks. So in the upcoming slide, I'll have a picture of the whiteboard, and you can see the the different navigation options available to you as a user. We use status icons to tell us a story of what's going on with each individual RO. So things like parts price changes and sublets that aren't scheduled and tow bills not received will all ignite an icon on the whiteboard on that particular file. And once you take care of that parts price change, or you have your tow bill assigned to that repair order, it will then extinguish that icon. So as you take a look at the whiteboard in the next screen, you'll see that there's a lot of files that have icons on them, and that's telling the story of what's going on with the file. There are a couple of features in Summit that aren't available in Repair Center. In-column search is replaced by a robust search bar in Repair Center, and we don't have a total loss indicator in Repair Center as there is in Summit, but we do have a total loss process step. So if a vehicle is not going to be repaired, there is a step in the process called total loss, and we can park our total loss repair orders in that spot. So there is an option to take care of total loss repair orders. So here's the whiteboard, and it's broken into 4 distinct categories. So at the very top, we have a toolbar that allows us to navigate globally within Repair Center. And off to the left here, you can see that we've got the current highlighted repair order visible. So this 2014 Ford Taurus is highlighted in the body of the whiteboard, and it's also being shown up here at the top in the toolbar. We have a search bar that encompasses dates and or different statuses, and the ability to filter the ROs in the main portion of the whiteboard according to either a date range or a certain status. So that's available. Here in the body of the whiteboard here in the middle, we've got a list of all of our repair orders that we currently have open, and you see that we have some dates with different colorizations, and these colorizations signify either a vehicle being late for intake or late for delivery, or everything is on time. So by looking at the colorization of the dates, we're able to tell whether the vehicle is passing through the shop in a timely manner. We have some file status icons that I talked about a little while ago. We have some parts price change icons and some sublets not scheduled icons. There's a couple of towing icons here, the little black tow trucks that you can see. And then we have a parts status pair of columns, and this signifies whether all of our parts have been ordered, and that's a yes or no switch. And then the column adjacent to that is the percentage of parts that have been received. So in some cases you can see we have 100% and 0, and there's a couple of 50% and so on. So as parts are received and posted, that percentage number will change in the parts percentage column. And down at the very bottom, we've got a preview pane, and basically the preview pane is giving us just a tiny bit of extra information on a specific file. Plus it gives us the blue hyperlinks to allow us to jump to different portions of that file. For instance, if we're to click on the parts hyperlink in the middle of the preview pane, that blue parts hyperlink takes us directly to the parts screen for this particular file that we have highlighted. So that's the whiteboard overview. Basically, it's our home screen, as I mentioned, and gives us the opportunity to navigate into a specific file or look at our files a little more globally. There are some differences for the CSR workflow that we're going to talk about in this next couple of slides. The new estimate RO feature in Summit is replaced by new opportunity in Repair Center. So there's 2 different ways to create an RO. You can create an RO from an estimate, which is our preferred method, or you can create a manual RO in Repair Center just as you would in Summit. So you can maintain your existing Summit methodology if you prefer, but in actual fact it's much easier to create a repair order from an estimate that is created in either the Mitchell estimating system or the Autotex estimating system. CSRs are responsible for a couple of the dates within a lifespan of an RO. the arrival date and the delivery dates being two of the key ones. And there's a couple of different ways to access those, and I have a slide that will show that. And then the CSR is also responsible, in most cases, to set the vehicle as being at the shop. So that would be the initial step in the vehicle location process. And I have a screenshot that will show that as well. So to open up a new RO, you can see from the screen that we're looking at here, this is the unsold estimate or the opportunities list. So if one were to highlight a unsold estimate and click on that Convert to RO button that is highlighted, that will start the process of taking that estimate and converting it to a repair order. The second method is the manual method, which is to create a new RO inside of Repair Center. And this commonly would happen when you have a towed-in vehicle and you do not have an estimate created as yet. If you see this particular example here, there are two manual lines created at the bottom of this screenshot that show a towing line and a teardown for estimate line. So these lines are manually created in this repair order, and the repair order now would be complete if this vehicle was a total loss. If this is going to be a repairable vehicle, you would continue on and write an estimate in either Mitchell Estimating or Autotext, and then you would import that estimate and layer it on top of this existing RO. And that looks like this here. So merge with RO replaces the import into RO option within Summit. So if we were to take the highlighted estimate and merge with an existing RO, we would follow the steps that you see on the screen here, and that would take the written estimate and apply it and overlay it into the pre-existing manually created repair order. A lot of extra steps when you think about it. So when we say that the preferred method is to create a repair order from a written estimate, you can see why it's much easier to use that estimate to RO conversion methodology. So the date screen, there are a couple of different ways to access dates for a file. The screen we're looking at here is our global date screen, where you have access to the dates for all of your open repair orders. You can also access the dates for a specific RO by clicking on the dates hyperlink, as we saw on the preview pane on the whiteboard slide a few slides ago. So going into an individual RO, you can access the dates there. Globally, you can access the job date screen here and see the dates for all of your repair orders. So in the morning, when vehicles are arriving, the CSR could have this job date screen open and put the arrival date in for the vehicles that are coming in that morning. Additionally, if there are changes in due out dates or vehicle repair start dates, if we've had a production meeting and we've determined that a couple of vehicles are out of sequence and we need to change the dates, this is the spot where the production manager could also go in and change dates on a multitude of vehicles at the same time. There are scenarios within the shop where production delays will occur, in some cases due to parts, in some cases due to improper scheduling, and the need to change dates on more than one vehicle is sometimes necessary, and this is a spot where we would do it. The vehicle location screen is a graphical view of where each car is in the repair process. So if we take a look at the header on the middle of this screen, which gives us all of our different process steps. We've got tear down and supplement and body repair and sublet and paint and reassembly and detail and quality check. You can see that total loss has its own column there. I mentioned this earlier, where we don't have a total loss indicator, but we do have a spot to park total loss vehicles, and it's right here in the vehicle location screen. So the CSR would be responsible for getting the vehicle into the first step, which is tear down, and then the production manager would typically pick it up from there and carry it through the rest of the repair process, and then we would have basically a quick peek at where every vehicle is in respect to where it is in the shop at this moment in time. So if this is updated throughout the course of the day, we're able to get a snapshot of where all the vehicles are quite quickly. There's some estimator workflow differences as well that we'll touch on. They revolve around knowing what the legend codes and the icons mean, ease of importing supplements, parts price changes, typically the purview of the estimator to correct, and then converting lines. So we'll touch on these 4 items here in the upcoming slides. So the legend codes that you see here basically tell us what each icon means when it is being displayed on the whiteboard. So you can see here we have a ton of information that is being that can be displayed on each repair order. The most popular ones that we see are parts price change and sublet not scheduled, towing for those vehicles that have come in on the hook. You can see the different colorizations on the dates down at the bottom of this legend screen, and it tells you what the different colorizations mean. So basically you want to have your due-in dates to be green. You never want to see a red date. That means that the car is here, but we haven't started repairing it yet. And on your due-out dates, you don't want to see any red because that means that the car was due out and has not yet been delivered. So anytime you see a red date, that should be cause for concern for the estimator, for the production manager, for the CSR, for the shop manager. Everyone should get excited when they see red dates because it means something is amiss on that particular file. Here you can see an example of a legend code. The E+ icon is displayed on the highlighted file, and basically that tells us that we have an estimate revision or a pending supplement. So anytime we change an estimate and save that estimate, the change comes across to Repair Center and is waiting for us to accept. So that little E+ icon tells us that the estimate has been altered. And if we hit the Accept Supplement button that you see highlighted at the bottom, that will bring the fresh revised estimate over and we'll apply it to the repair order. So if you had a $120 supplement because you've added an additional part to the estimate, that new part will come over into the RO and the $120 associated will be added to the RO total as well, so that your estimate value and your repair order value will always be in balance. Parts price changes are, like I said before, one of the most popular icons that we see in our repair orders. And when we take a look at the status column off to the right of the whiteboard here, you can see that we've got 5 parts price change icons lit. So each one of those files has a parts price change, whether it's 1 penny or $100. All it takes is any change to ignite the parts price change icon. In order to extinguish it, we'd have to go back to our estimate and change the estimate value to reflect the new list price of the part. Once we import that supplement and accept it, then the parts price change icon would extinguish. In some cases, you have to convert dollars to labor or labor to dollars. So in this particular example here on screen, we have broken glass cleanup, and it was a 1-hour line item on the estimate, and we're going to convert it to dollars. So in the example of this particular estimate, it was written at $70 per hour. So you can see that the labor is going to be converted from 1 hour into $70. So when we hit the convert button that's highlighted, the line no longer says 1 hour, it says $70. So just giving you an example on how that works. And it also works in reverse. If you had 100 and let's say $99.95 for 4-wheel alignment, and you want to convert that to labor, you can convert it that way as well. The parts manager has a few different workflow options for him as well. So just as in Summit, parts have to be ordered before they can be received. We receive our parts in one screen rather than two like you do in Summit. We have the ability to add core credits. It's very simple. And our part scrubber takes care of a lot of the miscellaneous items at the bottom of an estimate for us, and there's a screenshot that shows how that works. So just as I said, we have to order our parts before we can receive them, and we also have to have a purchase order number, so it's important that we have that information. We can email our purchase orders directly to vendor parts departments if we're so inclined. I don't think anybody prints and faxes POs anymore, so the ability to email them directly from Repair Center is there for you to use. And our sublets and service invoices, such as towing, can also be received into Repair Center, but they can be done without a PO. And we'll see that in an upcoming slide. So here's what our parts receiving screen looks like. I've skipped the order part because it is very similar to what you already do in Summit. So here in Repair Center, in the parts received screen, we've got 3 items that we are receiving. And down at the bottom in this preview pane at the bottom, basically we are filling in all the information from our invoice. So as long as our invoice amount and our cost amount on the Mitchell Repair Center screen match and the invoice difference is 0, we can go ahead and we can post that invoice. And as you can see off to the right in the GST HST box, it automatically calculates your tax for you, so you just want to double check and verify that that tax amount is the same as what's on the invoice as well. So a little bit simplified parts receiving as compared to the multiple steps that you have to go through in Summit. The part scrubber, talked about a couple of times now, basically covers, like I said before, all that end of the estimate stuff that has a dollar value. And the part scrubber will automatically correct these end of estimate lines and put them into the proper profit center. So the initial setup of the scrubber is done during your initial CIT calls. But once the trainer comes on site, you will work with the trainer to add to your part scrubber list. So the first 5 or 8 estimates that you put through Repair Center and convert into ROs will have additional items on there that need to be scrubbed. So you and your trainer will work together and you'll add to your part scrubber list. And the part scrubber list looks like this. So we've got several different items here in the list. You can see that there's multiple flex additives, there's multiple corrosion protections. And if we focus on the flex additive for a second, you can see that flex additive without a capital A and flex additive with a capital A are 3 distinct lines. So when you're writing your estimate, it's imperative that you use the defaults that are available to you in the estimating program, or if you're going to create manual lines, that you type them out in exactly the same way every single time. So if we use the top one, flex add, as the example, that was a manually created line. And the next time, if the estimator were to type it in with flex add but no capital A, that would be a line that won't get scrubbed because it is not the same as the line that is in the part scrubber. So it is case and text sensitive, the scrubber list. So you can see all these items have a status of inventory. They all have a type. So paint materials is our part type for flex additives. You can see that parts aftermarket is the type for corrosion protection. In this particular case, that is not correct. It should be a body material. So this is something that you and your trainer would correct as you are going through your part scrubber. So corrosion protection primer comes across as a parts aftermarket because that's the way that you put it on the estimate, but this is the opportunity for us to correct it and change it into a body material so it shows up in our profit report as a body material and not an aftermarket part. And then the profit percentage that you see here off to the right, is an approximation of the profit that we would accrue for each one of these line items. So the math is 70% of whatever the line on the estimate has as a value will be attributed to cost, and 30% will be attributed to profit. There are some differences in the production and payroll section of Repair Center as compared to Summit. We have a labor scrubber that does the same sort of thing as the part scrubber. We have the ability to fully or partially flag technicians. I spoke to that a little bit, but I have a screenshot coming up showing it. We have the ability to print notes on the work order for the technicians to see. Tech Advisor is a module within Repair Center that gives us some insight in some of the unique repair requirements for different vehicles, and then transfer to accounting. I have a slide on that as well. So we're going to start off here with Labor Scrubber. So things like cover car and rope glass and tin collar are labor opportunities that would be on an estimate that we need to scrub just the same way that we scrub some of the parts and miscellaneous opportunities we saw in the part scrubber. And this, again, is something that is done during the initial CIT calls to get you started, but then it's up to you and your trainer to add to this list as you go through the on-site training days. So the labor scrubber, this is an abridged view of the labor scrubber. You can see we have a couple of items in here. Car rental is an absolute mistake, so this is something that you and your trainer would highlight and delete and get out of there because it was added to the list in error. So if you absolutely need to delete something because it was an error, the opportunity is there to clean your scrubbers up and make sure that they are reflective of reality and not having something like car rental stuck in there. Auto flagging is something that can be turned on or off depending on your shop's situation. Auto flagging basically works with either flat rate or commission technicians. It does not work with hourly technicians because their cost is accrued through either shop clock or through the generation of manual time cards. So this applies only to flat rate and commission technicians. So once we cost our technicians, then those costs appear on the job cost summary and RO detail reports, and we can show the cost of the technician and the profit that we made off of the technician's labor efforts. So you can see in this screen here that we've got a couple of flags for start and completion of jobs. So once a body man clocks onto the body or frame category of a vehicle, or once the vehicle is moved into that production step in the vehicle location screen, the clock is starting on the body man. And then once the car gets the quality check, in this particular case, the body man gets flagged. So you can flag him 100% of his assigned hours, or you can flag him a portion of the assigned hours and then top them up manually as you're closing the repair order. So multiple ways to take care of the payment of these flat rate and commission technicians. Tech Advisor is a service that is built into Repair Center, and as a Repair Center user, you get a basic subscription for GM, Chrysler, and Ford makes and models, and you can upgrade to the rest of the Asian and European models, and you can upgrade to vehicle dimensions and all kinds of different repair things. As a basic package, you get repair standards, and then you can purchase additional modules and get additional information through your Tech Advisor. If you're a previous user of All Data, you would find that a lot of the information that is provided by that vendor is available inside of Repair Center. This is a quick peek of the Repair Center Tech Advisor screen. We are inside of a repair order. So you can see in this particular case, the vehicle owner's name is Robert Crenshaw. He's got a 2012 Challenger. So inside of his repair order, we click on the Tech Advisor tab, and Tech Advisor knows that we're working on a 2012 Dodge Challenger. And here in the Repair Standards tab, these are all the things that are available to you as a Repair Center user as part of your subscription. Vehicle dimensions and restraints and wiring diagrams and brake, steering, and suspension. These are additional modules that you could purchase. You see them off to the left in the selection column. Tech Advisor gives you also some links to OEM procedures from your estimate repair lines, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of the latest OEM repair standards and techniques included in the information packages within Tech Advisor. There's some awesome graphics that show, in the case of the vehicle that we're seeing here, the Mercedes-Benz, the uses of high-strength steel and other materials within that vehicle structure. You get mechanical specs and repair information, and then also special guidelines on hybrid vehicles and other vehicles that have unique materials that you need to be able to repair properly. Transferring to accounting, our Mitchell Repair Center accounting transfer options are for QuickBooks, Simply Accounting, and BusinessWorks. QuickBooks and Simply Accounting are probably the two most popular ones. BusinessWorks is kind of a legacy system that a lot of old ABS, Mitchell ABS users have used in the past, and therefore is carried forward. So there are tabs that separate sales, labor, payables, and payments, and you're able to transfer from each one of those tabs. And the screenshot here just gives us a quick overview of how that works. So in this particular case, we are in the Sales tab, and we can access that through the drop-down list from the Accounting button that you see on the toolbar at the top. And once we highlight the file that we want to transfer, in this case we've got Robert Crenshaw's Dodge Challenger highlighted again, the transfer button that you see down at the bottom will send that off to, in this case, QuickBooks, because that's the one that was set up for this particular demo, and the sales information for this repair is now set up in QuickBooks. We would also transfer any invoices for Mr. Crenshaw's Challenger to QuickBooks as well, and so on. So all of our revenue and costings are transferred to QuickBooks, so we can do our accounting in QuickBooks and not inside of Repair Center. There is a very robust suite of reports within Repair Center that allow us to dissect the data that we collect on all of the repair orders that we've completed within Repair Center. Just as some Summit users, I should say, subscribe to KPINet, and you can export to Excel from KPINet. You can also export to Excel from Repair Center as well, so you can manipulate and beautify your data and create charts and do all kinds of interesting things. We have infinite customization abilities for our reports too, which is also nice, and we'll see a screenshot of that coming up. So in this particular case here, I've got the report labeled sales by ... highlighted, and when I highlight an individual report in Repair Center, the preview pane that you see at the bottom will basically show us all of the available customization options for that report. So in this particular case here, we've got date options, we have process options, completed, delivered, closed, and so on. Off to the very right, you can see that we've got a Show Detail button, and when you check that box, there's a whole different version of the report that comes out showing all of the activity for all the ROs. If you leave that little box unchecked, you get a summary of all the activity for all those repair orders. And then at the bottom, we have different marketing options for our reports as well. So lots of customization for just one report in this case. If we were to click on another one, the options would change on the bottom and would be more reflective of what that particular report is trying to tell us. Tool Store is an add-on mop module option area for Repair Center. There are some third-party companies that have written add-on modules for Repair Center that allow you to interact with your paint machine, allow you to interact with your rental car provider. In the case of Generis, it is a data aggregation company and allows you to interact with them. And if we take a look at this next slide, you can see an example of some of the options that are available for these add-on modules and how you can integrate them into your Mitchell Repair Center. So as a bare minimum, Generis and ARMS will be enabled in your particular situation, simply because a lot of people like to have the ability to take care of their enterprise ARMS activity within Repair Center rather than going to the ARMS website. And Generis is a basic requirement for all CARSTAR users to allow CARSTAR Corporate to have some data aggregation and some of the very good reporting that comes with that. There are quite a few multi-store operators that will be migrating to the Mitchell Repair Center platform, and we have the ability to allow those users to switch from location to location. So taking a look at our screenshot here, you can see that we've got 8 locations available to us to switch to. And basically it evolves around the user's ability to have rights at each of these locations so they can log in. So basically by highlighting one of these locations that you see in the list, you would click on that switch to selected shop button down at the bottom left. A new login screen will pop up where you would have to put in your login credentials, your ID and your password. And once you click on the login button, you would be transferred to the Repair Center for that shop. So you're not peeking in from afar, you're actually dialed into that store using one of the licenses from their Repair Center account. So if you had a situation where you had 2 or 3 shops in your MSO program, you'd be able to remotely dial into the 3 shops from practically anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection, you are good to go. We have an additional module that revolves around the application of images being attached to repair orders. It's called Fast Photo, and it basically uses a dedicated wireless camera. It's a Ricoh camera that you can see in the photograph here. And as you take photos of the vehicle, they will be transmitted back to the RO literally before you get back to the office. So if you're to take half a dozen pictures of a supplement, part, and or repair, by the time you get back to the office, if you did the transfer function on the camera, the photos will be attached to the file before you sit back down at your desk. It's a very slick system. A little bit expensive, but very slick. And here's a screenshot of how those images are attached. We can also attach manually other documents to the file. We could attach a PDF of the estimate. We could attach scans of our invoices, a scan of a tow bill. So we can migrate towards a more paperless environment by using the attachment feature for these repair orders and scanning our paper documents into Repair Center rather than keeping them in a folder. So, you know, less paper is definitely more advantageous in many situations. So this is our opportunity to create a less paper or paperless environment, depending on how far you want to go. There's a web status module inside of Repair Center that allows you to send out alerts to your customers. So as the vehicle repair status moves from one stage to another, you can trigger certain stages to send out an alert to your customers. For instance, if your customer was keen to know how his vehicles were progressing through the repair cycle, you could set up an alert for the vehicle, once it enters the paint department, to send a message to the customer saying your vehicle is progressing through the repair process. It has just entered into the paint department. We will be calling you in the next couple of days to come and pick up your vehicle. And then once the vehicle gets to the detail stage, you could send out another message saying that your vehicle is now being detailed and ready for delivery. We will be contacting you very shortly. Things of that nature. So there is this ability to communicate with your customer based upon where the vehicle is in the repair process. It's a very cool tool. You can send alerts to their smartphone. You can send emails. There's multiple options to communicate with that customer. There is a iPhone and iPad app that you can download and will bridge together with your Mitchell Repair Center. Allows you to add photos and view some details about the repair orders. I've seen this in action in a few shops, and it's very neat. So this is something that you may want to incorporate. If you or your staff have iPhones and iPads, you can download that application and utilize it inside your shop. Repair Center is also able to be used on Windows 8 tablets. So if you wanted a more mobile estimating and repair order platform, you can purchase a robust tablet with Windows 8 on it, and as long as you have good signal strength in your wireless internet connectivity in the shop portion of the building, you'll be able to roam around untethered and be able to work within both your estimating system and your Mitchell Repair Center. And at this point, I would normally ask questions, but this is a canned presentation, so I would like to thank you for your time and attention. And if you do have any questions, you can direct them to the good folks at CarStar Corporate, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to take care of your questions and needs. Once again, thank you very much for your time, and have a terrific day.